We're back at it again. You're listening to Trending SCV on your hometown station, KHTS, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM. And, Jason, where are you? How do you do Where's Waldo? We're going to do Where's Jason? I like that. What do you think? So he got stuck on a plane. Good excuse. I think he's just tired of being here every week. That's what I think it is. But, again, he's on a flight. He'll be back here soon, I hope. And we've been coming to you for the last couple of weeks. We've been bringing you candidates that are running for the local school boards and Waterboard, city council, and so forth. And you need to hear what they have to say. And you need to hear what they have to say, not in that forum where we, and I'm part of that, where we get all ginned up and ready to go to answer those questions and to kind of give that political 10-second elevator speech. This is more conversational. I personally like it better that way. But I got to say something. Here we go again. We're now into the campaign season, although I usually don't start till after Labor Day. And, signs are already being stolen. Now, I just got to say it simply. How do you feel good about yourself when you cheat to win? How do you feel good about yourself when you have to go after a candidate's, signs and their character and all this other stuff? As has been said over the years, and I find it to be totally true, it means you got nothing. You got absolutely nothing. So the best you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take their signs. The signs are expensive, very expensive. I think this year, even what are they? The regular lawn signs are like $7 a piece, between $6 and $7 each. And you guys, I'm sure you're giggling like little high school kids that just got away with something at school because you stole someone's sign. I think it shows more the immaturity level that you're at than it does. Is that your strategy? We'll steal them into losing. There you go. It's disgusting. Listen, you want to win, and for you candidates, because I have them too. I have overzealous people that work for me, and you got to have the guts to go to them and say, look, God bless you for doing what you want to do for me, but get out of the driveways of the schools. Stop doing this, stop doing that, stop saying this. You got to have the guts to say that. That's what a leader does. So if you got people you're running, tell them, stay away from the signs. All right, I'm sorry that you can't raise enough money to buy signs to put them up, so you think stealing ours is the best way to go. But, I hear all this fair fight. We want a fair fight. Then have a fair fight. Really have a fair fight. And if you think that signs are the ones that are going to make you win or not win, you're out of your mind. Because I know people that have put up 5 signs and won, for God's sakes. So the signs are just simply a reminder who's running, and you've got I can't tell you, at one of the schools I was giving out my cards the other night, and I kept saying, remember, we have an election in November, and I'm telling you, there were a lot of people like, huh? What? Election? For who? For what? Mm-hmm. If the president's not running, it's not a presidential election, there isn't one. So I just keep going back and forth with it and saying to you guys, look, I hear you guys want, and you know who I'm talking about, you want a fair, clean election? Then have a fair, clean election. Keep your hands off the other person's stuff. Stop stealing their stacks of cards when you see them at certain places. Stop berating store owners because they've got my sign in the window or somebody else's sign in the window. That is just, you are making the point a lot of conservatives talk about. You are making the point that cancel culture thinks they're going to win out. They think that bullying, the thing that you guys say that you fight against on a regular basis, is the way to go. It's ridiculous, totally ridiculous. So anyway, I biased a little bit here. The most important race I think there is a school board race. Because when it comes to school boards, and for some of you need to understand something, the local school boards here in California do not have the same power that school boards, or what they're called, education boards across the country. About 85% of what we do is rubber stamp what the state sends us. State says you have to use these books. We go, here you go. We're using these books. State says, here's $1 million. Here's how you have to spend it. We say, oh, yeah, okay, good. We spent it on that. So we have a very small area of what we can do to make things happen at the schools. 86% for you business people that are listening, 86% of our budget goes to salaries and benefits. The rest we can kind of play with, but it is also slated for certain areas. So I think people need to get a little bit more informed. We had a great security symposium this week where the thing I love the most about it is that people were coming up and saying, I didn't know you guys were doing this, because I'm tired of hearing it is an election cycle. Do you know how you can tell? Because opponents at the high school level are telling people we've done absolutely nothing for security. Well, it's not true. It's blatantly not true. But it's almost like you guys want us to put up the combination to the safe up on Facebook or Twitter. You don't do that. So you come to these things, you find out what's going on and what's happening. We've done a lot. The Hart School District has done a lot in the way of safety. But the downside was that all the tables weren't full, and that was quite interesting to me. So you come out, you get involved, you get engaged. We're all working. We've all got things. I had to have somebody fill in for me at my job, so I know it's tough. I ran the first time with 4 kids, so I know how tough it is to do. But these are our children we're talking about. Teresa Todd is with me today. She's running for the Hart School District. Don't you dare tell stories about me from the early days. This is all about you.
I know.
Okay. And she is, well, why don't you tell people what area you're running for, why you're running, and then we'll start talking about some of the issues.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me. And I can't thank you enough for that beginning about the signs and the campaigns and the let's keep it right. I mean, this is civic engagement out there. And we need to be civil.
Yep.
And no dirty play. So thank you for that. Anyway, I'm Teresa Todd, and I'm running for trustee area number 3. And geographically, that is the Placerita Canyon area, Circle J, Friendly Valley, Newhall, some of East Newhall, and it goes all the way up to Newhall Ranch Road. So some pockets up there.
Right.
So it's geographically it's a small area, but it's quite populated.
Some people don't know that because of California law, some years back, it used to be you voted, everybody in the valley voted for all the trustees. Now it's down to an area. You're stuck
Correct.
to only voting for one person, even though you'll be voting for all the kids in the valley.
Well, I'll be governing for all of the kids,
Yep.
every student. So it really, there are 5 trustee areas, but we do. This is what's interesting. I mean, I've been in political campaigns before, and you're out there and you campaign as individuals, which is hard. It's hard to talk about yourself and your accomplishments, but you need people to know who you are and that you're qualified for the position. But once elected, you govern as a team and you govern for the benefit of every student without showing partiality, without showing favoritism. It's every student in the district.
Yeah, people, it really is. One of my things when I first got on the board was it's so hard to keep your personal, like, I want to see this happen. But you learn really fast 2 things. One is you need 2 other votes. So you have to kind of understand what's going on. And it's okay to voice your opinion. But number 2 was it's not about you. I'm sorry, when you first
Exactly.
get on, it's tough because you're thinking, well, they voted me because they like what I think. You're a representative government up there. You're representing the people that voted you in, whether they be, in my case, Christian, atheist, Buddhist, whatever they are, black, white, tall, short. You represent them all. And you
Yes.
need to take in what they're saying. You don't matter, if you would. Agreed?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you govern as a representative of your constituents, and hopefully they've voted for someone who reflects their values
And not
as
just
well.
the loudest constituents, all the constituents,
All the
right?
constituents, yes,
Yeah, because
yes.
got some pretty loud ones. So okay, you're enjoying life. You're sitting at home and you're enjoying yourself. And you went, I'm going to run for school board, right? Because I need some more torture in my life.
This was the hardest decision. It really was. I am so proud of everything that I've accomplished in my involvement in the educational community for many years. I've lived in the Santa Cruz Valley for 31, and I think I've been involved in education.
So
for
you were here when they had onion fields, right?
There was no mall. There was no mall. But, my story is pretty simple. When my kids were young, we were at Valley View Community School, and I tried being a room parent in, I think, kindergarten or first grade class, and I failed miserably. I mean, day one, I that was it. I couldn't do it. So I thought, well, you know what? I'll find something else that I can do. And so I became involved in the PTAs and, helped and really grew leadership skills through not only the local PTA, but the Santa Cruz Valley PTA Council as well. And then I ran for the Sulphur Springs School Board and won and served that for 4 years. And I've been, involved. Yes.
Let me take a pause because you're one of the few people that I've known over the years that actually ran and won and didn't start off by getting appointed. A lot of people
Correct.
start off by getting appointed to these boards, and then they stay on them. So you had to fight for the seat the first time. Yeah.
I did, and subsequent, but it's tough. It's tough to campaign, and there's a saying, service before self, and going back to your question of why did I decide to run? Well, it was a lot of soul searching. It was a lot of talking with friends and family and people within the district and outside of the district. And I really had to balance the value that I knew I could bring to the governing board versus just sitting back and doing nothing. And so I stepped up. It was not an easy decision, but Joe, I know it was the right one.
But you said something to me one night on the phone. You called me. We were talking. And I hadn't really even thought about this. But that seat has been appointed for 13 years. Nobody has actually run to win from the people for 13 years.
Yes, and when you're talking about constituents and talking about, having a voice in who represents you, the people in Area 3 have not voted in 13 years for their representative because of that series of appointments and called elections. And so that means 2009 was the last time they got to go to the polls and cast a ballot.
Yeah.
So
and that was myself, and in that year it was myself. It was Bob Jensen.
Yeah, I mean,
and Paul
Strickland.
Paul Strickland, and he shortly thereafter moved out of the area. And then you're right; it was a series of appointments from that point on.
But there's the other side of that coin is that not only have we not been able to elect our representatives, but we've never had the opportunity to know anything about the representatives that were appointed,
True.
in that regard, because they've never had the opportunity to go out and campaign and let people know who they are, what they represent, their value system. I mean, it's kind of like a free pass.
Well, yeah, not to make it sound really easy, but when you get up there for the appointment, you're appealing to 4 people.
That's it.
When you run for office, you're appealing. Well, I've got the largest district there is of all of them. I've got to appeal to 30-some-odd thousand people to get them, the majority of them, to vote for me. Right? I'd rather have 4.
Well, no, I mean, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Yeah. So, all right, you got you got me in an elevator. You try to get my vote and get some dollars from me. Tell me why I should vote for you. Tell me about Teresa quickly.
Okay. Well,
Hey,
I don't.
I've
have
had that happen.
elevator-
The door closes. I got 10 seconds with this guy.
Well, I'm running for the Heart Board because, I want to do good for every student, and like I said, without partiality, without favoritism. I also know what governance is and what it is not. And I know that to sit up on the dais, we are representing the community. We are representing the families and the parents, and when we govern for the benefit of students. We are not in competition with the superintendent. We are not competing with the administrative team. We are the oversight, and we are the representatives. And the decisions we make have to be well thought out and vetted.
People don't realize because of the Brown Act, there's times when we have hours to make decisions on spending millions of dollars, and it's ridiculous. We're gonna have to do a whole show on the Brown Act. You've joined a group of other candidates and current trustees that we're calling Family First. It's your money, your schools, your kids, and you deserve a voice. Now, I had a prominent person from the other side of the aisle call me the other day and say that this is just a load of BS, that parents aren't suffering, that, went down this whole line with me, and I got to thinking in my head, it's because they don't see it. They really don't see it. Why did you join this group, or why did you feel to come alongside this group?
You know what? it was a very compelling story, and knowing that my roots started in elementary school, where one of our cornerstones is parent engagement.
Right.
I mean, that's why we have such great, excellent schools here. It starts with parent engagement, in the classroom, supporting the school, and it kind of tapers off in junior high, and by high school it's completely gone.
We're not sure they have parents, right? They're just not around.
I know. But the pandemic really gave opportunity for parents to be, the lockdowns, for parents to be in the classroom with their kids and to see what was going on, and to really kind of, in some cases, question what was happening, and in other cases, wanting to get involved and to be kind of the boots on the ground with their kids and with their education. And so I love this movement, this Families First, because we're not just, I don't feel like we are just educating the student. I think we are helping the entire family as the child moves up into their future endeavors.
I thought that for a while there, I was talking with parents. I still am, but talking with parents. And first event I went to, there were 200 parents there, and I was talking to them about basics, and they didn't know the basics of what their rights were and weren't. And I thought, first I thought, why wouldn't you? You have kids in the district, but people like yourself and I got involved, and we learned those things. We actually went looking for those things because we were heavily involved. We got to find a way to educate the parents. We got to find a way to let them know that they have these rights, and how to exercise those rights without being crazy, right? I mean, seriously.
Right. Well, and by profession, I'm a communicator, a professional communicator. I have a public relations agency here in Santa Clarita. I'm an adjunct professor. I've been taught at Loyola Marymount and also USC. But communication is key, and I think that's truly the strength that I will bring to the board and to the table.
And in talking with those parents, sometimes one-on-one, sometimes with the groups of them, they're kind of embarrassed that they don't know. And I'd say, look, don't ever be embarrassed. Your children's education and career is at stake here. Don't be embarrassed to ask a question, right?
Mm-hmm. No,
All right. We're on our way out. How do people learn more about Teresa? How do they help you, whether it's financially or volunteering?
I have a website, Todd4Heart.com, Todd4Heart.com. They can email me at Todd4Heart@gmail.com. Pretty simple. Or they can call me. I mean, my cell is 661-510-1908. And
I made that mistake one time.
Don't get upset if the voicemail is suddenly full. But
well,
anyway,
Teresa, I look forward to the forums. I look forward to hearing more from you, and I hope people go out, check out your website, and that kind of thing. So,
thank you, Joe.
Maybe a surprise guest at the bottom of the hour. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Joe Messina here, without Jason, all by myself, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
If you need help at home or at the office, call Made For You. Made For You is a locally owned, bonded, and licensed cleaning service with over 20 years of experience. All employees are vetted for your protection. No need to buy products or equipment. The Made For You staff comes complete with everything needed to make your home or office cleaner than ever. Hire Made For You one time, as needed, or an ongoing basis. No room is off limits. Laundry and ironing services are also available. Call Made For You for a free estimate. 255-2922. That's 255-2922.
This is Bradley from Santa Clarita Grocery, the all-volunteer grocery program serving children, families, and individuals experiencing food insecurities. Since January 2020, Santa Clarita Grocery has distributed 83 tons of fresh groceries to 4,465 families in the SCV. Santa Clarita Grocery is a drive-up, drive-through service with physical distancing in place to continue serving our community. If you are in need or looking for a charity to do the most good for our community, please consider partnering with us by donating to Santa Clarita Grocery, one of the most efficient charities in the Santa Clarita Valley. A full 99 cents out of every dollar goes directly back to the community. Santa Clarita Grocery operates on a 1% overhead and is sustained through private donations. Santa Clarita Grocery is at 21176 Center Point Parkway in the Oasis Furniture parking lot. Please visit our website, santaclaritagrocery.org, or our Facebook at Santa Clarita Grocery to make a difference in our awesome town community. 661-425-7575. Be our guest and experience the difference.
Stone Oven, the healthy alternative. You've never tasted a sandwich like this before. Gourmet bread cooked before your eyes. Stone Oven at the food court at Valencia Town Center.
Save at the best Santa Clarita restaurants. Restaurant Row, where everything is half price. Click on hometownstation.com and discover incredible savings. Online or at our radio station, everyone saves with Restaurant Row. Check it out at hometownstation.com. Restaurant Row, where everything is half price.
Coming to the Canyon, Gordon Lightfoot, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Berlin, The Motels, Robbie Krieger of The Doors, Corey Feldman, The Smithereens, Oingo Boingo former members, Stephen Piercy of Rat, Pancho Sanchez, War, Chicago Tributes by Danny Seraphine, and CTA, and Leonid and Friends, Missing Persons, Ambrosia, The Spinners, Eric Gales, and so much more. Country nights every Thursday. The Canyon is the perfect place to host special events. Call 888-645-5006 to book yours today. The Canyon, Santa Clarita, where music meets the soul. Tickets available through access.com.
Welcome to the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, where life-changing moments happen daily. Set out on safari and discover 1,800 acres of sprawling savannas teeming with wildlife, as well as world-class botanical gardens. There's no place like it on Earth. Encounter rhinos, giraffes, wildebeest, and large herds of wildlife roaming together. Journey through the bamboo forests and come face to face with Sumatran tigers. Hop alongside kangaroos and dive underwater to meet the only two platypuses outside of Australia and experience the awe-inspiring giants of Elephant Valley. When you're here, you'll discover adventure is in every moment, and a moment can change a lifetime. For your family's ticket to fun, visit San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance.org. That's San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance.org.
No words can describe the power of belonging to a group of close friends or being part of a family. Insight Treatment Center was founded more than 20 years ago to give teenagers a community of friends and family as they overcome issues like depression, anxiety, and trauma. The new Santa Clarita location is a COVID-secure environment where distance and good airflow are a priority. As a leader in providing intensive outpatient treatment to teenagers, Insight Treatment Center in Santa Clarita is here to help. Call 888-295-9995 or go online to insighttreatment.com.
KHTS, your hometown station.
Why, I've never been so insulted in my life.
Well, it's early yet.
Back to Trending SCV here on KHTS. Always a pleasure to have you with me. Here we are at AM 1220, FM 98.1 here in the Santa Clarita Valley and beyond. I got to learn how to do that. I don't do voices very well. Anyway, so it dawned on us today, not that you haven't heard enough from me already. I'm Joe Messina, your host, by the way. This is Trending SCV. Jason Gibbs is supposed to be here, but he's slacking it somewhere on the tarmac on a plane. Can't seem to get off. And he was supposed to interview me today. So it'd be kind of stupid, although I think it would be a lot of fun for me to ask myself questions and then answer them. Is he on? Oh, you're there. Okay. So, Carl, I thought that instead of me asking me questions and then answering them, because, you would ask me softball questions, I thought maybe Carl Goldman could step in and do a little grilling so you'd know it. He'll ask me the questions that I need to be responsive to. Carl, it's all yours.
I'm here.
It's all yours. Go for it.
But I can barely hear you.
All right. He can barely hear me. Testing 12, 13, 27. Any better? Any better?
Hooked up the right way.
I feel, what do I feel like? I feel like that guy from Verizon. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me then? Can you hear me now? Can you barely hear me?
I can't hear, so whoever's running the board, I'm only hearing you through the phone.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Hold on. You got it now? You there?
No, I got you through the phone.
He's got me through the phone, but not through the.
Now I'm okay. Now
You're
I'm
not.
okay.
You're okay now. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fire away, Gridley. You're there. Can you hear me?
I'm here. Yes.
All right.
I'm
So
good.
go ahead. You know what your job is, right? You're to grill me
Yep, I know.
and make sure
Yep.
that I don't lie. It's all
Got
yours.
it. Are you going to do the intros?
I already did.
Oh.
Clock's
Are we
ticking.
on live?
Jump in. We're live. Go for it.
Okay, this is Carl Goldman here on KHTS 1220 AM and 98.1 FM. We have with us, it's a flip of the host, Joe Messina, who is our present Hart District, Weymouth Hart District School Board president and running for re-election, right, Joe? And how often do you have to run?
Every 4 years. That's our cycle.
Got it. And the board itself is made up of 5 members. So right now, there are how many members running?
So every 4 years, it's a cycle of 3 and 2. So right now we've got 3 running, and it's myself, Bob Jensen, and Sharice Moore are up for re-election.
Got it. And then who's running against Sharice at this point?
Right, Teresa Todd, who just left the studio, and
Okay.
Andrew Taban is running against Bob Jensen, and Rebecca Hinman is running against me.
Got it. Okay. And I know, having been watching the school board and been participating in it for the last 32 years, actually, you've done quite a job over there. How many years have you actually been on the board?
13. And I had pledged that I only would spend 8 years because career tech ed was my thing. You know that. It's what I ran on.
Right.
But I always say that education moves like running through molasses in the wintertime. I mean, it took forever to really get a hold and get things running because, not every child is slated for college, right?
Exactly. And you did a remarkable job over the years in pushing for a different type of school with Castaic High School. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, when Castaic High School first came about, we had a little bit more leniency and input to what was happening. And I had seen in a couple of schools out and about in California more of a trade school kind of thing. And they had what they called flex buildings. And they were buildings that didn't require $3 million to redesign every time you want to change something. So they were buildings that it could easily move from plumbing to carpentry to electrician, all that kind of solar panel. One of the places I went to actually had solar panel repair, which technically brought everything in. It brought in electrical, plumbing, and how to work on these kind of things. So I said, this is what we need to do. And we had originally designed a school with 3 flex buildings, but I don't think people are aware that we don't go to the normal, local county to get approval for the buildings. We have to go to the state, and we have education codes to go through, and we couldn't get them the way we wanted them. But I always felt that Castaic School, and building it and the amount of money we were spending, it should be a community school, open to the community. We designed it so that we could have nighttime classes there for adults to maybe re-educate them. If you were an 8-track repairman, and now you could come up and become a solar panel repair person, kind of thing. But the school, a lot of thought went into that school. A lot of work went into designing that school and finally getting it done.
We're chatting with Joe Messina, presently the Weymouth Hart District School Board president, running for re-election. And Joe, we've seen throughout the country right now, particularly after COVID and parents getting a glimpse of what's going on in the schools around the country, that there's now a new mission to give control back to the parents. What are you seeing here in Santa Clarita with that?
Well, what's funny is when we did the 4th of July parade, we all got on there and we just had a banner that basically said restoring parent voices. And I know a lot of people take exception to that, go, we have voices. Well, let's talk about that, right? When we got in the parade, we were the last float in the parade. And we actually had people running up and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for doing this. We want to be heard. Because it's easy in the political cycle to say, for people that are already in to say, yes, you're being heard. Yes, we hear what you have to say. But the reality is, what have they done for the last 2 years? What have they shown for the last 2 years? So what I'm finding with the emails that I'm getting, the people I'm talking with, and the team is talking with, we have people from all sides of the aisle. We have people that normally don't vote. And the number one issue for them is wanting to have input and not control, because that's what we're talking about. You elect us to have control of what's going on, but you should, parents, every parent should have a voice. Every parent should have the ability to have access to their kids' curriculum, access to their kids' classroom, access to the school, and not be locked out. And I think that, we have a lot of great teachers. We have a lot of teachers that aren't afraid. But when you start seeing trustees and others that are locking you out or locking you away from having the ability to see what your kids are learning. Teresa Todd said it earlier. During the lockdown and during the distance learning, parents got to see what their kids were learning. And wait a minute, that's not right. They'd go to the board. The board would, for all intents and purposes, shut them down. Now, Newhall School District, they were one of the ones that shined through this whole thing. They allowed parents to always have a voice. They listened to what they had to say. And we, for all intents and purposes, were doing the same thing. But without mentioning names, we did have some people that were uncomfortable with that. And you know me for 20 years, Carl, almost, and I've never been one to shy away from, let them come up and speak. They have a right to say what they're going to say. And I have found that reaching out, I've been meeting with parents pretty much every other week for months, and it's educating them. Once they got educated, once they knew what their rights were, if people were paying attention, they went from all the yelling and screaming at the meetings. Now we have conversation with the parents. The parents lay things out in a proper way. There's no yelling or screaming to speak of, and we get things done. We get things accomplished.
We're talking with Joe Messina, William S. Hart School Board President, running for re-election. And Joe, KHTS has had a Sacramento trip every year now for the last 18 years, where we take about 110 community leaders up to Sacramento for 2 days of advocacy, and there's always school board participation and student participation. We actually, courtesy of California Credit Union, we bring 2 William S. Hart students. This year we took a woman from Hart and a woman from West Ranch up there. And we asked them, on the bus, everybody gets a chance to speak in front of everybody, introduce themselves. And we asked the 2 students to share their experiences over the last 2 years being isolated with COVID and what they're witnessing for themselves and for their friends. And it was heart-wrenching. So, and I'm sure you've heard the same thing through the school board. Yeah. My question to you is, how do you address that now from a board standpoint? What steps are you taking to, we just saw, in fact, the latest results on learning for math across the country is way down.
So one of the things we've been working towards is bringing in more counselors, more classes and more counselors. So more counselors to allow these kids to have a place to vent, to be able to go and work through some of these things. Every one of our high schools pretty much has what's called a wellness center with counselors in there they can go in and speak to. But I think we're going to see issues personal opinion, I think we're going to see issues for decades. So we need to beef it up. Some of these kids are not where they need to be from a learning standpoint. And so what we're going to try to do is make classes available either later on in the day or beef up classes during the day to get some of these kids back to where they need to be, back and caught up. Again, they're with their kids now. And the worst thing that can happen now that I'd be one of the first trustees to push back on is they go back towards this mask mandate that they're talking about. This is what hurt these kids. They're not able to be with their friends. They're not able to see facial expressions. They're not able just to have that social communication that they need all day long. But I will say that it's at every one of our meetings, it's a conversation. It's a conversation is how do we get these kids, these young students, back up to where they need to be, emotionally, physically, mentally, that kind of thing.
And another ramification of the lockdown is the increased drug use and, of course, the addition now of fentanyl. You just was part of a press conference on fentanyl, and I know the district's right now working on some kind of special presentation for parents. What other steps are being taken?
Well, I'm glad you brought up the panel because the eye-opener for that was the fact that it wasn't approached as a drug problem, if you would, right? It was approached more so, these kids don't know they're getting fentanyl in the drugs that they're ordering. They don't know that when they hop online or they grab a pill from a friend or what have you, whether it's got fentanyl. This was nothing that they had to worry about years gone by. But my understanding now is that just enough fentanyl will immediately hook you, make you addicted to it. A little bit more than just enough will kill you. It's that simple. So when I learned about that, and I learned that we were aware that was out there. We didn't realize how serious it was. I had our superintendent watch the video. We showed it to some of the staff, and immediately we decided to jump all over this, and we're going to be doing more and more classes on this, and we're going to reach out to the parents. The parents need to know this is going on. This is not, Carl, I joke about this, and I don't mean it in a lighthearted way, but this is not your grandfather's dope, right? This is not the dope they smoked back in the 60s and 70s. You're not the drugs they took back in the 60s and 70s. They're much more potent. They're much more dangerous. They're much more harmful to the young person. And parents, you can't just giggle it off like, yeah, I smoked dope. I was fine. Look at me now. I'm successful. It's just a fad. Well, let me tell you what. If you find something laced with fentanyl, it's not a fad. It's a death sentence. If there's that much in it, it's a death sentence. And those poor kids don't even know that that's what they're getting. It's not a way to wake up to this.
Yeah, and even if they don't overdose from it, the amount of fentanyl taken is so addictive that all you need is one pill laced with just a little bit of fentanyl, and you're hooked on it.
You agreed. But look, I'm the lightning rod, right? I mean, I'm the guy that speaks gruffly in the whole 9 yards. Here's the deal. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care how you think about how I speak. If I'm been elected to protect your children, it's not just protect them from drugs. It's to protect them from certain things that they're seeing and being exposed to at school and all those things. So, when it comes to fentanyl, when it comes to the drugs, I'm going to keep making a big deal out of it. And I think, somebody joked with me the other day and said, you remember the movie Reefer Madness? I said, yeah, of course I do. They said, well, this kind of feels like that. I said, this is not that. The government made a big mistake with that movie. All right. But right now, we do have a drug issue, and it's bigger than just the normal thing that we've thought about over the years. This fentanyl is a big deal. It's a major issue. And parents need to clue in and key in on what's going on. If you listen here to the station, Kerry Quashin is here on a regular basis, and he's got the insight to it, and he's the one that woke me up to it as well.
It's watching Kerry's show, and it's available on the KHTS YouTube channel. I just finished listening on YouTube to Kerry's Monday show, where he had two Santa Clarita youths who had been addicted to fentanyl. They're one of the survivors, or two of the survivors. But hearing their stories just heart-wrenching. We're talking with Joe Messina, who's the Hart District president at the moment for the William S. Hart District Board, and he's running again for re-election. We're going to be back in a moment, take a short break, and we'll ask some tough questions for Joe, so stick around.
No doubt about it, LA is an awesome place to live. But even while living in the land of beaches and mountains, it's safe to say that we could all use a real vacation right about now. One where you don't have to stop for gas, cook your own meals, or strip your own sheets. Lucky for us, Princess Cruises has a port right here in LA. Now, for a limited time, LA residents can sail with Princess from just $89 per day to the beaches of Mexico, the tropics of Hawaii, or cruise along the California coast without getting stuck in traffic. That's right, just $89 per day. And while these great destinations aren't going anywhere, these deals won't be around forever. So visit princess.com, call 1-800-PRINCESS, or contact your travel advisor to book your cruise today. Set sail with LA's cruise line, Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Promotional pricing ends November 30th, 2021. Ships are Bermudan and British registry. Before booking, consult the CDC website at www.cdc.gov.
Comfort Keepers provides your loved one with loving in-home care.
Miles McNamara, certified senior advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in-home care.
Our caregivers can help you in your own home, enhancing independence, creating safety and comfort. Our Comfort Keepers provide companionship, meal preparation, medication reminders, assistance with personal care, and even transportation to doctor's appointments. If someone you love can use a helping hand at home, visit comfortkeepers.com.
Or call 287-4200.
Hey, Ned, what are you doing with that calculator? The customer said they don't have the money for a new system right now, and their old AC system has had it. It's too bad we can't help them.
Yes, we can. Pacific Air now has special financing. 0 payments and 0 interest for a year. I mean, we'll help people stay cool in Simi Valley, Ojai, Fillmore, and all over Ventura County. Aren't you supposed to tell me to get in the truck?
Nope. Let's go tell the customer the good news. Mark and Kaylee for Pacific Air.
Maybe Ned needs to switch to decaf.
But everyone at Pacific Air is excited about our new financing options.
If you're a homeowner that's a little strapped for cash, finding money to replace a broken HVAC system can be difficult.
Not anymore. Introducing Pac Air's new 0 payments and 0 interest for a year on any new HVAC system.
No surprises, just exceptional service. Because nobody cares like Pacific Air, we think you'll say,
wow!
Call Pacific Air. Learn more about our new financing options today at pacair.com.
KHTS, your hometown station.
Why, you did say something, didn't you? Are you doing that on purpose? Or can't you make up your mind?
That's the trouble. I can't make up my mind. I haven't got a brain. Only straw.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
I don't know. But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Yes, I guess you're right.
We are back. You're listening to Trending SCV here on KHTS, AM 1220, FM 98.1, and we're doing a little reverse roll here. I know usually you're used to hearing Jason and Joe, and right now Carl Goldman is, what's that guy's name? He's interviewing that guy, Joe Messina, running for re-election on the Hartport. You there, Carl? Hello? Gone? Nothing there. All right, so guess what we're going to do? We're going to move on. We'll bring Carl back at a later date, I guess. Well, I've got, like I said, the show is about, for the last couple of weeks, it was only a show that was put on for about 3 weeks now. It was myself and Jason Gibbs, and we were interviewing the candidates and the current members of City Council, School Board, Waterboard, and we don't have a dog catcher, so we didn't do dog catcher. And so we have Marcia McLean with me right now, and Marcia is a current board member. Current council, school board. It's a current council member. It's a city council member here in Santa Clarita. And Marcia, you know, this is what I've been telling people. Here's how it goes. Just tell us why you want to be. How long have you been on the board?
I have been on the city
council
since 2002.
Okay.
It sounds like a long, sounds like a long time, but it's not really when you consider how time flies when you're doing the hard work.
I've been there on 13 years, and you're right. It seemed like I got on, yesterday afternoon. You're right, it flies. So you want another bite at the apple, as they say, and so tell us about yourself. And I know a lot of people already know you, but there's some tuning in for the first time.
Right.
So tell them about you and why you want to stay on and what you're going to do.
Sure. Well, I actually started my career working for the Los Angeles Police Department. I then worked for a Los Angeles city councilman, and then I worked for the federal government, the State Department, and I was commissioned to work at the American Embassy in Paris, France. There was an opening for a few months at the embassy in Tel Aviv, Israel, and they asked if I would mind filling in for the person that had left, and I said, no, I think that would be fine. I was just so happy for that opportunity to be able to do that. And then that's actually where I met my husband, Dale. He was in the Army, and we met in Paris. We became engaged in Paris. And then he was from New York, and I was from California. So when our tours were over, we went back to New York. We were married there, and then drove across to California because he wanted to be able to go to school in California, and I wanted to live back here in California. We moved out to the Santa Clarita Valley in 1972 for the schools and for the ability to purchase a home. Our first home was like $25,000 in Canyon Country, and we were very happy to be able to do that. And as our business also was in Santa Clarita, and as that was growing, we made sure that we joined the Chamber of Commerce out here because we understand how small business works, and you need to have that networking ability. I also became very involved in a lot of the committees and such out here, and then when they were proposing the world's largest garbage dump in our forest land just outside of our city, it was supposed to be a done deal. And knowing how government works, I knew that there had been no hearings. There had been nothing in the process being done. And so I wanted our movers and shakers at the time to take on fighting the dump. And they said, well, it's a done deal. So they didn't want to do it. So 2 other ladies and I sat around my dining room table and we formed a nonprofit, the SCV Canyons Preservation Committee. And it has taken, well, it took like about 27 years of my never giving up, the wonderful residents never giving up out here, and convincing all of our movers and shakers that they needed to fight this dump because it was sitting on top of our water supply. So, I mean, that's something that it kind of gave me the inroads into the politics of Santa Clarita. And so I decided that I thought I could do a really good job on the city council. So that's how I became a city council person.
All right. And now, again, there's all kinds of, in today's environment, not like it was maybe the last cycle, the cycle before that. Now, cancel culture is big. People are taking pot shots at the city councilmen. Do I say city councilman or do I have to say city council person? I don't want to get in trouble.
I'm a councilwoman. You can call me Marcia.
But I think that this ageism thing that's being thrown out there and all over the place drives me nuts because they don't really, they're aiming it at me, they're aiming it at the Bill Coopers of the world and what have you. And there's some experience in life that we bring to the table and being there for a while. Tell us how you feel about that and tell us why we should keep you on there.
Right, exactly. Well, experience does count. I know how government works. I know what the programs that we have worked through due diligence. I know what works and doesn't work. I don't need to waste the taxpayers' money with going over everything once again. We are a business-friendly city. We're one of the safest cities in the nation. We're a family-oriented city, and I want to make sure that we keep that. Anyone can identify an issue, and yeah, the age. Okay, I can challenge just about anyone. My age doesn't matter. What matters is the work I'm able to do, the work I am doing, and the commitment I have to our residents.
Well, and that's important. What are some of the things you see that the city's going to have to tackle in the future? You got about 3 minutes.
Okay. As I'm out and about, I talk to people all the time. And public safety, I believe, is their number one issue. We make sure that we devote enough funds that our men and women out there protecting all of us have the funds necessary and the support necessary. This defunding the police, I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. We need to be able to have more police officers in our neighborhoods. And what our captain has done is he has neighborhood patrols so that people know them and don't have to fear them. The other thing is the homelessness issue. I have been intimately involved regionally and here to make sure that we have the dollars and the resources necessary for our nonprofits out here to be able to do the job. We have resources available for any person, any homeless person that wants help. Unfortunately, there are some that don't want the help, and that's the challenge. The drug situation out here, fentanyl. I sat next to a woman at the same
panel.
Yeah, exactly. And she had lost her son. She went in to check on him, and he is dead through one fentanyl pill. And our district attorney doesn't think that any dealer caught with mega pills and guns and everything else deserves to be prosecuted. They want them to get probation. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. So I personally fought to gather signatures.
It's interesting when people will say that the council's not doing A, not doing B, not doing C, but some of this stuff comes back to we can't prosecute these things. They say you should just hire a city council person. You got about a minute on this one. You can't hire a city attorney that can take these things on or take these issues to court. That's
right.
True.
Well, any challenger can talk about an issue. what they don't talk about is what we're actually doing about it. I don't just talk about something, I do something about it.
Right.
And so that's why I'm hoping that I can get voter support to be reelected.
Okay, so you've got the elevator speech, right? You got me trapped in an elevator.
Okay.
Tell me why I should vote for you.
You should vote for me for the very reason that I have the experience. I'm on 24/7. My phone number is out there for anyone to call me. I answer every single email, and I'm not there just to sit there. I'm there to do the work, and I've done the work, and that's why you should reelect me.
All right, Marsha McLean, she's up for re-election to City Council. People, it's in November. I was disheartened. I was at a school giving out, my cards, my palm cards about the November election, and I actually had people say, "There's an election this November." Is that this November? Yes, it's this November. Pay attention to what's going on, all right?
And can I just say one real quick thing?
Yeah.
My phone number, 661-255-1259. These short interviews can't possibly answer all the questions that people have, and I would love the opportunity to talk to anyone out there who wishes to know exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, this is an intro for those. We have a lot of new people in the community. They really don't know. They don't understand what the city council does. They don't know what the school boards do. So it's an opportunity for them to understand what's happening. So I appreciate your time with me today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Yep. Thank you.
You've been listening to Trending SCV with Joe Messina and the absent Jason Gibbs. We'll get him later. Don't worry about it. We'll be back with you on Monday. Have a great Labor Day.